I'm here at the BA Test Kitchen to show you a really fun technique that a lot of restaurants are using. With egg yolks, we're actually going to cure them to create some richness and complexity. So for this recipe, we're gonna need bonito flake and also bay leaf, kosher salt, a lime, and then also some sugar. So first we're gonna take half of the kosher salt and put it into the food processor along with the bonito and the bay leaf. The bay leaf is gonna kind of bring that herby flavor, and the bonito is gonna obviously bring that smoky flavor, which is a really natural flavor that does really nicely with egg yolks. And pour all of that mixture into your bowl that already has the sugar in. And then we can add the rest of the salt as well. Here we have a standard 9x13 baking tray. Take half of this mixture and pour it in here. Then using your lime as a tool, we're gonna use the back of it where it's nice and round to kind of make divots in the salt to then drop the yolks into gently. So once you have the yolk separated from the white, you're gonna drop it into the little divots that we made, and then that way they're gonna nestle in there. Just really gently drop them in there. The bonito and the bay leaf are just my personal touch to curing egg yolks. Some people use lemon zest. You can also use dried onion, dried garlic. We're gonna gently cover these yolks with the salt. You can even see that the salt and sugar are starting to look a little bit like wet sand, and that means that they are starting to absorb the liquids. I like to either mark in some way where my yolks are. You can simply use the top of your finger. I also use peppercorn sometimes, or just basically anything to mark the spot where they are, so then we can just gently grab them out. We're not gonna plastic wrap it so tight, because then moisture will start to condense. These are ready for the refrigerator, and they're gonna be in there for 48 hours. Okay, so we've been prepping these for 48 hours. First, we're gonna find the yolks themselves. Here's one right here. It's always really exciting when you find them because it's like little treasure, and they're so bright orange and a little bit translucent. Gently with your finger first, we're dusting off some salt, and then we have a little pastry brush right here. Again, we're doing the same thing. Once we've brushed them off a little bit, we're gonna grab a bowl of water, and we're gonna kind of gently dunk them using our hands just to get the rest of the salt off of them. Place them gently onto the tray. So I always love that with each of the yolks, they kind of take on a different shape. Each of them are slightly unique. So like this one you can see is a little bit more round and plump than the one that we took out before it. And this one's like really orange, so that's pretty cool too. Right now they kind of look like really glossy apricots, which is also a good indicator that you're on the right track. So we're gonna take this tray and we're gonna put it into the dehydrator at 140 degrees for 2 to 3 hours. So here we have the ones that have already been dried out a little bit. And you can see that they've changed in texture a little bit. That shininess that we first had is a little bit gone. So we're gonna take a small piece right here, and we're just gonna use our fingers to kind of crumble a piece of it off. And it tastes immediately smoky, immediately herbaceous, salty and sweet at the same time. The most obvious technique to use the yolk is to grate it with a microplane, which we will do, but also something that's a little bit more interesting is using it to thicken dressings. Here we just replaced the raw egg yolk with the cured egg yolk, so it's gonna give a little complexity of flavor, that smokiness, and the bay leaf is gonna come through. And then we're gonna fortify the flavor of the yolk by grating a little bit more over the top, so that there'll be some bites that are a little bit more smoky and some that are a little bit more herbaceous. In this bowl, we have asparagus. In order to draw a little bit of the moisture out of them and make them a little bit more tender, we're gonna use a bunch of Maldon salt, and then we're gonna use the lime. So what we're doing here is actually kind of repeating a curing process, but with a totally different ingredient. Obviously, a simple plate of pasta is perfect as is, but what's kind of cool about this is it's going to take on some similar flavors like a carbonara because you have the egg yolk and also the smokiness from the bonito. So it's kind of like a vegetarian carbonara. And so this is like a nice, really easy way to kind of impress your guests or add something a little bit rich or complex to a dish that kind of is a little bit more reminiscent of maybe a restaurant quality. And all you really need is a baking tray and a refrigerator to get started. Thanks for watching.